Europa, the toxic paradise. In the freezing, silent void of the outer solar system, there floats an object of impossible beauty. It is the smoothest object in the known universe. From a distance, it looks like a polished pearl dropped into a sea of ink. It reflects the distant sun with a brilliance that outshines every other moon. This is Europa. It looks pure. It looks peaceful. It looks like a sanctuary. But do not be deceived. In space, beauty is often a trap. If you were to teleport to the surface of Europa right now, you would not find a winter wonderland. You would find yourself inside a nightmare. The surface is not smooth ice. It is a jagged wasteland of frozen water, hard as granite and sharp as broken glass. The temperature is minus 160 degrees Celsius. Cold enough to shatter steel like a porcelain vase. But the cold is the least of your worries. Above you, the sky is not empty. It is raining death. An invisible, silent torrent of radiation is stripping the very atoms from the surface, creating a toxic environment that would destroy a human body in minutes. Welcome to Europa. The most promising place for alien life is also the deadliest place to look for it. Part 1. The gun and the bullet. The radiation mechanism. To understand why this paradise is actually a hellscape, we have to look at the monster looming in the sky,
the immense
Jupiter.
Power of
Jupiter is not just a planet, it is a failed star. It spins so incredibly fast that it generates a magnetic field 20,000 times stronger than Earth's. This field creates a magnetosphere, a beast that spans millions of kilometers. But a magnetic field alone is just a cage. It needs ammunition. That ammunition comes from Europa's sibling, the moon Io. Io is the most volcanic world in the solar system. Every second, it vomits tons of sulfur and oxygen ions into space. Jupiter's magnetic field grabs this material, strips away its electrons, and accelerates it to nearly the speed of light. This creates something scientists call the plasma torus, a donut-shaped storm of high-energy particles circling Jupiter. And here is the tragedy. Europa's orbit lies deep inside this firing line. As Europa circles Jupiter, it is constantly being carpet-bombed by these high-energy particles. If you stood on the surface without a lead shield thick enough to bury a tank, the radiation would break the chemical bonds in your cells instantly. Your electronics would fry. Your camera lenses would darken and shatter. It is a nuclear environment that makes Chernobyl look like a playground. Part 2. The glow and the chaos. This bombardment is so intense, it changes the physics of the moon itself. Laboratories experiments at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratories suggest something terrifyingly beautiful. On Earth, night is dark. On Europa, the night side glows. Because the ice is being hammered by charged particles, the surface creates its own light. Depending on the salts dissolved in the ice, magnesium sulfate or sodium chloride, the ground beneath your feet would shimmer with a ghostly green, blue, or white luminescence. You could read the book by the light of the radioactive ground. It is a glossy ghost, a visual warning that the surface is burning with invisible fire, and the ground itself is broken. We see vast regions called chaos terrain. Imagine a jigsaw puzzle the size of a continent. Now imagine a giant fist punched it from below.
This
The
visualization
pieces
shows how
shattered,
different salts create
rotated,
distinct glows in Europa's
floated
ice.
apart in a
Left,
slushy
magnesium
soup,
sulfate glows
and
green.
then refroze. This tells us something crucial. The ice shell of Europa is not static. It is alive. It is churning. Below this frozen crust, kilometers
Enormous ice
down,
blocks, kilometers
there is
across,
an
are tilted
ocean
at
of
wild
liquid
angles.
water that
Dark
is
cracks
warm,
separate them, revealing
moving,
refrozen slush below.
and violent enough
lane
to
tells a
crack
story
the
of
world
catastrophic
open
disruption.
from the inside. Part 3. The conveyor belt of life. But this is where the cosmic horror turns into cosmic hope. Life, as we know it, needs three things: water, energy, and chemistry. We know Europa has water, more than all of Earth's oceans combined. We know it has energy from the tidal squeezing of Jupiter, but life needs fuel. It needs oxygen, and the radiation that makes the surface a graveyard is exactly what creates the fuel. When those lethal particles slam into the ice, they split water molecules, creating free oxygen. But fish cannot swim in ice. The oxygen is trapped on the surface, separated from the ocean by 20 kilometers of hard crust, unless the crust sinks. Scientists now believe Europa has a slow-motion system of plate tectonics. As the chaos terrain breaks and shifts, slabs of oxygen-rich ice are pushed down, subducted into the depths. It is a planetary conveyor belt. Above,
the first ingredient
the
for life, a
radiation
vast
creates
subsurface
the
ocean
food.
with water.
Below,
Second, tidal
the geology
enters in the
delivers it
source.
to the
Oxygen
table.
from the
In
irradiated
that
surface
hidden,
provides chemical building
eternal
blocks.
darkness, 100 kilometers deep, where sunlight has never touched, there could be an ecosystem. Not just bacteria, but complex, multicellular life. Creatures that have evolved for billions of years in a world without eyes, swimming through thermal vents, feeding on the oxygen that falls from the hell above. Part 4, The Suicide Dive, Europa Clipper. For decades, we could only guess, but now, we are going to look. NASA's Europa Clipper mission is currently en route, but the engineers faced a problem. How do you explore a moon that sits inside a radiation belt that eats spacecraft for breakfast? You don't orbit it, you dive bomb it. Clipper will not orbit Europa directly. Instead, it will orbit Jupiter in a wide, elliptical loop. It will dive in, stream past Europa at altitudes as low as 25 kilometers, lower than commercial planes fly, to scan the ice, taste the atmosphere, and use radar to see through the shell. Then, before the radiation cooks its brain, it will speed away into deep space to recover and transmit data. It will do this nearly 50 times. It is a mission of hit-and-run reconnaissance. It seeks to answer the final question: how thick is the shell, and is the water truly touching the rock mantle? The specific recipe needed to spark life. In his famous sequel to Star 2001, A Space Odyssey, Arthur C. Clarke wrote a chilling message from an alien intelligence: all these worlds are yours, except Europa. Attempt no landing there. Perhaps he was right. Europa is a treasure chest locked inside a reactor. It is a world where the surface will kill you, but the depths might just welcome you. It stands as a silent reminder that in our universe, the line between a paradise and a prison is thinner than a sheet of ice.